Believe it or not, with just an old charging cable and phone battery, I built a powerful homemade antenna. No fancy tech, just curiosity and a pair of hands that wouldn't quit. Creativity isn't about money. It's about daring to try. Now, let's get to work. First step, I take a small knife and gently scrape the contact points on the old battery, just enough to make them a bit rough. That rough surface helps the solder stick better. A small detail, but it makes all the difference if you don't want your connection to slip. In the soldering step, I use a bit of soldering flux and tin to make 2 small solder joints on the charging contacts of the battery. This helps the connection hold better and keeps the current flow steady when we attach the wires later. Here I've got a short piece of LAN cable with one end already fitted with connector. Now, we'll solder the 2 wire ends to the 2 small joints on the battery we just made. Take it slow. Make sure the polarity is correct so you don't short or loosen the connection later. To make the solder joint stronger and more durable, I wrap some electrical tape around the connection to secure the wire to the battery. It keeps the joint from coming loose and also adds a bit of insulation for safety when we test it later. Here I've got an old, broken modem. Let's open it up and see if there's anything we can still use. Sometimes the parts we think are useless turn out to be surprisingly handy, if you know what to look for. After taking it apart, I realized the modem wasn't actually broken at all. The only problem was there was no power cable going into the board. So I decided to solder the charger cable directly onto the modem circuit board. Simple fix, neat and easy. I'm using some soldering flux. It helps the solder spread evenly, makes the joint cleaner and stronger, and prevents oxidation while soldering. Simply put, it makes the whole soldering process much smoother. When making a connection, pay attention to these two small solder points on the modem board. They're the key power contacts. We'll solder the charger cable right here, which basically means we're linking the charger wire directly to the modem's antenna circuit. To make sure the solder joint stays firm and doesn't come loose, I'm using a bit of soldering tin. It helps the connection hold tighter and conduct better, especially on smooth or thin surfaces. All right, now let's put the cover back on. Don't underestimate this. With a phone battery wired directly to a LAN cable, when we connect it straight to the modem, the point is to power the modem and the antenna at the same time. Put simply, the cable supplies power while also carrying the signal from our DIY antenna, letting the modem run, and improving reception. That's why just an old battery and a piece of LAN cable can turn an otherwise useless modem into a working mini antenna. Securing the phone battery with hot glue onto the modem cover has a neat benefit. It keeps the battery in place, so it won't move around, and at the same time helps dissipate some heat while the battery and circuit are running. A small trick, but really useful for keeping everything stable and safe. But we're not finished yet. Next, we'll move on to making the connector from the antenna to the TV. This is the part that really determines if the signal reaches your TV. So stay tuned. Here we have a power outlet, and to power the charger for our antenna setup, we'll connect one end of the coaxial cable to this outlet. Be careful not to touch any exposed metal, since this is a direct power connection. For the other end of the coaxial cable, we'll attach a straight F connector and a 90-degree F connector. This end will connect directly to the TV, allowing the signal from the antenna to go straight to your screen. Make sure the connections are tight and secure, so the signal stays strong and stable. All set. From the DIY antenna to the dedicated connector cable, everything's finished. Now I'm taking it outside, plugging into the TV, and testing it right away. Let's see if it performs as expected. In just 3 seconds after connecting, the screen starts showing a signal, but we're not calling it a success yet. Let's wait a little while to see if the signal remains stable. So far, I haven't noticed any changes. Everything is still working fine. So I decided to unplug the cable and plug it back in to see how the signal responds. I'm not that surprised. Our setup still works perfectly fine. From an old battery and a LAN cable to the modem and TV, everything runs smoothly, proving that sometimes things we think are useless can be incredibly useful. If you found this fun and want to try your own DIY, drop a comment with your ideas, or like and share this video so more people can tinker along with us. Remember, all it takes is a bit of curiosity and a pair of hands willing to try, and you can create amazing DIY projects too. Start today. Who knows what amazing things you might discover?